Hey, Sassy Stuff, what's up? I'm Molly. I'm back with Emma. We're talking all things 2025 preseason predictions. And today we're going to be talking about not my favorite team, but honestly, nobody's favorite team, Ole Miss. So, Emma, tell me some stuff about Ole Miss this year.
Dang, that was harsh. I like Ole Miss. It's mostly because of Lane Kiffin. We love Lane Kiffin here. We love Lane Kiffin's Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be an interesting year for them. They do not have Jaxson Dart anymore. Jaxson Dart was exceptional for this team. I loved watching him play. I loved the TikTok edits of him as Anakin Skywalker and that whole journey, and he really embraced that as well. But he has now gone to the NFL. They're kind of reloading a lot of this team, but that is what Lane Kiffin does so well. He is an expert at the transfer portal. It's just the question then, is everybody going to gel? So I am always interested in Ole Miss, and that is because of Lane Kiffin and what he is able to do. He did also pass that big threshold last year, beating Georgia. It was a big moment for him. He did throw a couple games away, which took him out of playoff contention. But they did wrap up their third 10-win season in 4 years. But again, 14 starters are gone. So this is going to be a very interesting season for Ole Miss.
I'm thinking too, with a double digit transfer portal number, that's scary. To me, if I was a head coach, I'd be like, what are we getting ourselves into with this? I think 10 rookies, hit or miss, but transfer portals, I feel like it's a slippery slope here. So I'm a little nervous for Ole Miss on that end, just thinking it is a huge turnover. They've got all of those seniors that are gone.
It is a lot. But again, I think Lane Kiffin, what he does well is the transfer portal. That's how he built the team he had last year, a team that could have gone to the playoffs, could have done well in the playoffs. I mean, they were one of three teams kind of in that conversation saying that this is why we should seed it different, or this is why there should be different parameters for choosing who gets in, because teams like Ole Miss could have done some great things in the playoffs. So I am interested to see how they mesh, but that's what Lane Kiffin does. So we'll see how he's able to take all this stuff on. Obviously, the biggest question mark is that QB change, Jaxson Dart to now Austin Simmons. Simmons is a redshirt sophomore from Florida. He's a lefty. I love a lefty. He showed poise versus Georgia last year in the upset win, and coaches and teammates praised his leadership and his work ethic. He says he'll do whatever it takes to win a national championship. So I'm excited to see what he does, because Dart was so pivotal for this team. He doesn't have to be Jaxson Dart from day one, but he does need to be efficient. He needs to be composed. He showed flashes of greatness last year with that confident drive versus Georgia. He is praised by his coaches, but we have to see how he meshes. If the game slows down for him in early on, then Ole Miss is going to be a team to beat. Ole Miss could go to the playoffs, but it has to mesh well for him. He's going to be leading this team now.
I'm a little nervous with we've got a QB change. We also have basically an entire new O line. So I'm eager to see how the first couple games go and see how this O line does. And I just hope that they're doing a lot of bonding this summer.
Yeah, you need to protect Simmons. I mean, like you said, it is a whole new O line basically, plus a new quarterback. If it can hold up early, they'll be good. But we'll see how they mesh. It's going to be make or break with that unit. And then Austin Simmons, of course, at the helm. And then the defense has lost players. I don't think they're going to be as dominant this year. I think they'll still be dangerous, though. That they lost Nolan, Ivory, Princely. So, I mean, they still have Perkins. They have young guys like Brown who are rising up in the ranks. The porter helped them fill gaps in there. But I do expect slight regression here. I still think they'll be disruptive. I just don't think it'll be as good of a defense as they had last year. So that could be a very big problem point for them as well if it doesn't hold up to what last year was.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've got a ton of transfers. Everything feels so new in the SEC this year. Like every time we do one of these videos, I feel like each team is just such a young team, or they're a transfer team. Like this is going to be probably the most entertaining year of football we've had probably in about 5 years. Uh, that's just my opinion. I could be very wrong. Who knows? We'll see. This could be a hit or miss, but I am so excited for college football. I'm like on the edge of my seat just thinking about it because of this. Like we've got transfers, we've got the special teams. There's a new kicker, a new punter. They've got a new O line. They have a few new defensive players. They've got a new QB. That's an entire new team. It's
But
like
that's what Lane does well. So that's why I'm sitting here like with other coaches, I might be worried. But with Lane Kiffin, I'm like, okay, this is what he does. And he's been successful with that. And so can Ole Miss reach 10 wins again? I think yes, but it has to click and it has to click early. You don't get second chances in the SEC, unfortunately. And if Simmons plays like a seasoned QB, if the O line stabilizes, if the defense stays above average, then they're in the mix to make it at least to the semifinals potentially. But realistically, this team with all these question marks, they might land around 8 or 9 wins. They're still a top half SEC team, but we'll see. We'll see. But this is a very important year for Lane Kiffin. It is huge. If he can prove he can win 10 games again with his roster, I mean, I think that would be incredible. This would be huge for Ole Miss.
I mean, he literally like is rebuilding an entire team on his own, which is crazy to me. And I think if you can get the offensive line and the special teams in order, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
That is like the most important part because you can't win a game if you can't score, you know? So at the end of the day, if the QB is healthy, if he plays like a seasoned quarterback, like you just said, I think they're going to be just fine. And like you said, I do think Lane is the man for this job to completely rebuild
Reinvent
an entire
himself.
SEC team. So, but I'm interested to see how the season goes because I listen. You have the positive note on this one. I'm gonna be like I big question mark for me.
Yeah.
Big like I don't think this is gonna go well. This is too new. There's too much going on.
Well, see, I'm personally feeling like 9 or 10 wins for this team, um, to get them 10 wins getting them to the playoffs. You
7 or 8,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, because their schedule is manageable. Like, I'm
yeah,
not gonna lie, I don't think they have anything super crazy happening. So it's super manageable for a team that is well and efficient. So if we're looking at this and they're not rebuilding well, maybe their chemistry is way off. I don't think that this is gonna be a good year for them. However, like I said, I hope that they're doing a lot of time bonding. I hope that they are busting their butts in these summer practices. And I mean, it's an entire new team, so that could also mean an entire turnaround for Ole Miss. Who knows? They could be the number one team. We don't know.
it's gonna be interesting to see, but let's go through this, season a little bit with them. They start August 30th versus Georgia State. This will be a win. It's a comfortable opener. I prefer a comfortable opener. A lot of these SEC teams, like Texas, like Alabama, they don't really get these comfortable openers. LSU doesn't have a comfortable opener. So, the SEC teams that do get that game to kind of settle into the season, I'm always jealous of, and then love it when it's my team. So, this is a easy win. This is going to be good for Simmons. This is going to be good for the O line, good for the defense. Hopefully, they find their groove here because then they go to Kentucky the next week. And Kentucky, while not a dominant team, can upset some teams like they upset Ole Miss last year.
I know Kentucky can upset some people, but I think if they mesh well that first game and the O line is on it protecting Simmons and Simmons is playing the way he should be playing, I don't see how they could lose to Kentucky, if I'm being
Yeah,
honest. So
I'm,
I'm gonna
I'm calling it a win as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
But again, if the O-line cracks, then Kentucky can win this game, and
yeah.
it's gonna be a road test. It's a hostile environment, so it's gonna be interesting to see, and same with Arkansas. It'll be at home, which is good. I think Arkansas, will lose this game. I think Ole Miss will win, but Arkansas, again, is a gritty team. We both love Arkansas here.
I know. I'm a closeted fan. I do want to say Arkansas normally does well on the road. So this is something we should be weary of because they don't get bus licks. They are on it. So I'm gonna root for Arkansas. Just, Razorbacks. Whoop whoop. That's my secondary team. So I do love the Arkansas people, if I'm being
But are
honest.
you picking Ole Miss to win?
No, I'm gonna pick Arkansas
Okay,
too.
okay. She put her bag in with Arkansas, I love it. Next, we have Tulane. Tulane's a tough team, but I think Ole Miss just has more talent across the board, and that will be an easy win. This next game is where I'm like, they could falter here because we're gonna be playing LSU, and I think LSU will beat Ole Miss here. I'm gonna say this is, on my end, their first loss. And next, we have a big rest, a bye week because they have a big, big road stretch, which is going to be hard. And this is where I could see them faltering a few times and then going to that 8 or 9 win season. But I am going to stick strong with my 10. So I'll start off by saying Washington State, I think, is going to be a win. This is going to be easy
Same.
because they have just been rested up. Early kickoff, I think they're going to be good here. But next we have Georgia. They did beat Georgia last year. They're going to Georgia, so Georgia does not win it or does not lose at home very often. They have a great home winning stretch going right now. So I do think this is going to be a loss for the Rebels.
As a Texas fan, I'm gonna have to agree. I just think there's something about Kirby, man. He's just I think he made a deal with the devil or something, I'm not sure. There's just something off about that home anytime they're playing in the Peach State, I'm like, "Alrighty, let's just pretend it never happened."
He said, "We're not losing here."
It's literally. So I just yeah, I'll pray for you guys though, Ole Miss. Best of luck to you.
Best of luck. I just again, but Kiffin and Kirby know each other so well. They worked together. So it is always a cool game when they play each other. So I'm interested to see what happens, especially with what happened last year. And I think if Lane Kiffin can pull off another win here against Georgia, especially going to Athens, that would be huge for him. Then we would be singing different songs about Ole Miss this year.
Just best of luck to you, Ole Miss. I'm gonna count on Georgia for that one.
Next, they will go to Oklahoma. These are back-to-back brutal road games, especially with the coaches they're facing. Both Kirby and Venables are great on the defense, so these are going to be very physical matchups. I will call Ole Miss winning this game because I'm counting on this offense to be gelling, especially by October 25th.
Absolutely. I will say Oklahoma clearly did not have a good year last year. How are they gonna do this year? Have no idea. I'm gonna root for Ole Miss on this one. I, as a Texas fan, just can't bring myself to say that OU will win something. So I'm just gonna go ahead and root for Ole Miss on this one because I genuinely do think, even with a brand new team like Ole Miss has, I just feel like the caliber of talent is very different, in my opinion.
So next we're gonna go and play South Carolina. This is gonna be back at home, so that's great for the Rebels. I love South Carolina. I love Lenora Sellers. I say it every single time I talk about that team. I am gonna say that Ole Miss will win this game,
Mhm.
um, especially after playing Georgia and Oklahoma. I mean, these are gonna be tests, and so I think once you've been tested enough, things should start working correctly unless you have major injuries. But I am gonna be saying that Ole Miss will win this game, but I think South Carolina could surprise anybody next year. So there's somebody I would not underestimate by any means. But I'm really excited for this game.
Yeah, it could be an upset, but I'm with you on this one. I'm gonna root for Ole Miss. I think they've got this one in the bag, just personally.
Yeah. And then of course we have Citadel next. This is going to be a win, get right game, rest some people game, because then you go and play Florida. Florida will be coming to Ole Miss, but Florida, I think, is going to be a team that we're going to be watching a lot next year. I see a lot of greatness from them, from DJ Lagway. I think that Florida's gonna pull it out.
I This is gonna be a hard game for Ole Miss. This is gonna be a tough one, and it also depends on how Florida does this season because it is one of the last games of regular season. I just maybe Florida will be tired. Maybe they'll catch them on an off day. I don't know.
I know we have love for both teams, or at least I have love for both teams. I know Molly doesn't love Ole Miss as much as I do. But then they will go into their bye week, which is a great place for a bye week before going into rivalry weekend. Granted, their rival is Mississippi State. And I don't want to say anything against Mississippi State fans, but that program is in need of a serious makeover at the end of the day. And I think this will be a very easy win for Ole Miss. And then potentially, I'm putting them at 10-2 with losses to LSU and Georgia. And if that pans out, then they have a shot at making the SEC championship. Depending on what other teams do. So it's really interesting. I'm excited for them.
I'm gonna put them at 9-3. I think they're probably gonna lose Georgia, Florida, and question mark on Arkansas. But I feel like Arkansas could possibly really upset them. And I do think they're gonna pull through though with LSU. I'm not counting that as a loss. So yeah.
No, I like 9-3 too. I think there are a few games they could absolutely drop. I don't think they would drop more than 3. I know FanDuel has them at 8.5 win projection.
Mhm.
So we'll see. But I really do see Lane Kiffin staying strong with this team. It's just really a matter of how this team meshes at the
Yeah.
start of the year. But that's with everyone across the board because we are in like such a weird era of college football and it needs to stabilize in a way. It's semi exciting because you get brand new teams every year. So even if you were awful last year, you might be amazing this year and go all the way to the national championship. But the other way around can happen too. And I always pick on Florida State because that's exactly what happened to them last year. So it is, you can sit here and predict as much as you want, but with the transfer portal and then the new recruits coming in, it's just like, who knows?
We're just looking at a lot of brand new teams. I think really the one team that kind of still has it going is Florida. I think they've got DJ Lagway. They have the remainder of their O line still there. So to each their own. I think this is going to be the most exciting season we've had in a while.
It's gonna be exciting. It for sure is, and I think that's a big part in the SEC of why it's so hard is because a lot of these teams are semi-new, at least, and they're figuring everything out at the same time other SEC teams are figuring out, and if you falter a little bit here, you're gonna lose.
Yeah,
It might not be by a lot, but you're gonna lose,
yeah.
and so this whole season is gonna be so much fun, starting with week 1. I mean, there's so many amazing matchups. I'm excited to see how Ole Miss does, what Lane Kiffin does with his new roster, what Austin Simmons does as the QB1 here after Jaxson Dart set so many records. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Well, fans, you guys let us know what you think in the comments. Are we crazy? 9-3, 10-2. I mean, I don't know. We'll just have to feel it out. Let us know in the comments what you think about Ole Miss coming up in the SEC season and also SEC season. And also let us know what you just think about the SEC season coming up. Is it going to be as exciting as we think it's going to be? Leave your comments below, like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.